haven't set it up yet. Nak faham nak marking ni isn't actually really that direct forward, because for objective it is quite straightforward. I just need to release it, but for the subjective I need to also include it in your Google form, Google Classroom. But the way that LIC has set it up is that everyone submitted the the answer different on a different platform. So what happened is I need to combine everything, and I don't think I agree with this. So next time test 2 I'll be doing it differently. I'll be also be doing it via Google Classroom, but everything will be centered around there. I try to reduce the use of Google Form because it makes my flow quite hectic. I spend the whole week marking your testing. Okay. Apparently your friend unable to join, so it's okay. I've recorded the link. In any case, so kita proceed with subjective discussion dulu to find out which are the answers so that you guys can compare. For subjective ni, for now you can't compare it yet because like I've mentioned, I haven't set up the Google Classroom to be distributed yet. I forgot about that, sorry. I've took one whole week to arrange, collect the marks of your subjective. And apparently, even though the question is not that much, but because of the cross-platform arrangement LIC did, it causes me a bit of confusion. So I'll promise by today I'll be able to send your objective. But you can compare the result, the discussion after I've got the recording for today. Okay, so recording from the Gmail. Okay, so for the first question, which of the following does not fall under Malaysian energy supply? Should be hydropower, geothermal. If you recall, if you have read across article in, I think 2000, it's a bit long away lah, but Malaysia, we don't have geothermal because we are more focused on the other three, and also geothermal in our location isn't very good. We are even though we are at the core, but we are more closer to the sun compared to the, not to say closer to the sun lah. We receive more energy from the sun rather than geothermal, because geothermal also would requires you, because geothermal is for typically for country that is colder like Antarctica and whatnot, because they receive less amount of sun exposure to sun compared to us. As we have a lot of sun, we have lots of oil, not to say oil lah, hasil bumi lah, basically. We have water, we have tons of things. We are actually very blessed in Malaysia because whatever that we want, we actually can get it from the earth. It's just that itulah kita tak appreciate sangat lah sebab buang sampah tu. But geothermal isn't a Malaysian agenda lah. Considering to invest in geothermal is quite hefty, and other resources are much more accessible to us, like sun, oil, gas, and also hydropower, the Bakun project. So geothermal is the one that we do not cover under our Malaysian energy supply. Okay, and then what is the difference between energy conservation and energy efficiency? If you look at the picture, the other three allows you to have the same convenience. For example, natural skylight, you still have a good lighting. LED light bulb, again, the same lighting at night, except this time you are having a more efficient electrical usage. Star rated appliances, you still can get a very cool product after you bought it from the supermarket. It's just that it uses less energy, so this is energy efficiency. And but cycling isn't energy efficiency; it's energy conservation because in order for you to get to point A to point B, you can still get it from point A to point B, but at a slower pace. So let's say if you have meeting at 10 o'clock, you won't be able to get to, if let's say you're in Putrajaya and your meeting is in Packer, so you won't be able to get it at 10 lah, if you're still at home at 8. So that's more on energy conservation. Not to say you yourself as a human being, but now you don't have to pay oil prices, gas to fill up your tank on your bicycle, and but at the cost of time. Cycling, yes, it does allows you to get healthy, but uh, it does not gives you the time conveniences as compared to motorcycle. But because you have totally turned off the energy consumption, which is gas lah. Okay, so cycling isn't energy efficiency. Hold on, somebody joining us. Okay, and then energy standards. The following falls under energy management standards. So this one you have to look at your notes, right? MS ISO 85. This one ISO EN and ISO 5001 is more on energy laws. So MS ISO 8561 is I think you can just look even for you, you can just Google it. I think in the notes pun ada mention, or the one that falls under management standards, except MSISO, because this one does not, you won't find this in the notes. So that means this one is more towards ISO standards. That's how I would apa nama, uh, objective answer. Typically, if I can't find it in the notes, typically that will be the answer. Okay, and then standards is a published document that contains technical specification and other precise criteria designed to be used consistently to improve quality of life. Which of the following describe chronology of AMAS? This one, tak boleh cakap apa lah, memang notes. We rearrange the flow, but you be able to get this flow from observing the notes. I would like to remind to you that I did inform you, yes, this is ODL. You guys, nobody's stopping you from looking at notes and discussing with friends. Therefore, we sengaja design the question to be more comprehensive. That means we look at macro instead of maybe a few questions they are still there for you to pick it up directly from the notes. But for the question of objective, we try as best as we could to make sure that you guys think and try to look at the notes a bit more macro. Macro and micro. Macro is look at the bigger picture. Micro is directly to the notes. So in this case, we try to make it macro by, if I'm not mistaken, in your notes we start with VS7750 and then elaborate from there, and then we look into ISO 1401 and then accordingly. So this one is actually from notes, and we try to make it from the macro point of view. So the answer is this one. I didn't have ABC here, but if you take this one, should be good. Okay, and then MS 1525 is a design standard that covers the design of renewable energy and energy efficiency in non-residential building. Which of the following is not covered by the standard? So if you're trying to get a design award, the one that I mentioned in chapter 1, typically it will cover energy usage of that has significant energy consumption. So as you can see, typically in a building, it's either air conditioning, lighting, and how to control them, but not CCTV specifically, because CCTV consume, even though you install 100 CCTV pun kat dalam your building, it will not be as huge as air conditioning and also lighting. So CCTV is not covered. Not to say that not to say that it doesn't use electrical energy, but the energy consumption is really small. So typically it will fall under lighting punya subsection. Okay, electric motor was the first equipment identified for the labeling program. So the answer is EFF0. This one is micro version of your notes. You can just look at it directly from your notes. There is no EFF0, so nothing much I can elaborate from there. ISO 5001 was launched in June 2011. It has the potential of to influence of up to 60% improvement in the world energy usage. Which of the following define the standards? This one is also directly from the notes. Nothing much I can say except budget and motivation is the whole energy program. The whole energy program movement as a whole, not just specific to ISO 5001. So this is more on the 6 pillars, I think. The 6 pillars of energy management, not specifically ISO 5001. Okay, Malaysia has officially made commitment to voluntary reduction of 40% via energy efficiency and energy conservation. The other two is just something that I put there to confuse you, but this is actually directly from the notes. I think much I can elaborate from there again. How much? Okay, and then question 9, which of the following describe the small renewable energy program in Malaysia? Again, from the notes, we tried to vary a little bit parameters here and there, but ultimately you can directly pick it up from the notes. 1 year license, 10 megawatt maximum, and 11 to 33 kilowatt interconnection. As you can see, there's actually a lot of the question. We pick it up directly from the notes because the objective here isn't to fail you. The objective here is to help you to get to know the subject matter. But that said, we try to as best as we could to help you guys. Okay, and then in the roadmap listed in energy efficiency master plan by the government, several initiatives have been listed, among which are the incentives provided to encourage participation in Malaysian energy policies. Which among these are not entitled to receive said incentives? So as you can see, this one we try to wrap it up in a way that you understand a little bit. So we want you to think. So from the notes, you know that supplier from local, imported goods, and you got some tax incentives, right? So we try to make it look like your apa nama? You try to think lah. So energy efficiency equipment from Netherlands, purchased from Netherlands, is actually is a tax deductible. Tax deductible. That means the price still pay the full price, but importing it this falls under importing renewable energy efficiency equipment from overseas. So you get this incentive. Purchase from local or overseas, that means you don't have to pay tax to the government. Energy generated from geothermal sources, even though Malaysia don't have it. Anything that is renewable from Malaysia will anything that is renewable energy is applicable for tax reduction, except for sales and proceeds. Sales and proceeds of solar heating equipment. Oh yeah, the purchase, the usage, everything is tax deductible for renewable energy. Sorry, I forgot. For sales, if you're selling, and then you have to pay sales tax lah. That one you can't actually get some exemption because that one is more on you as a provider or ni. So that one kita punya words is sales and proceed. That means if you're selling, it will be deducted, tax deductible. Not say tax lah because you're doing business and business still ada tax. But for purchasing, incorporation, to adopt energy efficiency and renewable energy, that one Malaysia is supportive of. But for sales, no, it's similar to like doing business lah. You have to pay your tax lah for doing business. So that one kita nak cover. Okay, I know, I understand. You haven't had a look at your answers, so you might not see what I'm talking. I mean, you might not compare with your answers, but give me until maybe evening. I'll give you your version back, and you can revisit this discussion via the Google Gmail recording that I've just made. But for now, just dengar lah dulu. A good sustainable energy management system needs to have the following requirement, except and using the latest energy efficiency technology to reduce energy consumption. Okay, this one is also the macro version of the notes. This one, you have to understand that energy management involves the 6 pillars, and then to compare with this one is because you don't have to buy the latest and greatest. It's similar to computers. In order for you to join the ODL, you don't have to have the latest and greatest internet connection. You don't have to have the latest and greatest computer. Even a basic mobile phone actually boleh join ODL ni. The same goes with energy management and energy efficiency. As long as you're able to reduce your energy consumption up to berapa percent that you're set earlier in your energy management program, as you have committed to Suruhanjaya Tenaga, that would be sufficient. You don't have to buy the latest machinery to get the best energy efficiency or whatnot. No, as long as you show there is energy efficiency being implemented, as shown by the overall energy consumption reduction, you should be good to go in Suruhanjaya Tenaga books. So this one, you might need to think a little bit. So yang race staff comply with rider organization goals and ability to integrate with standard working procedures ni memang included under energy energy management program punya pillars. So that one memang betul kena ada lah. Okay, an organization can obtain the Energy Management Gold Standard (EMGS) by following the Sustainable Energy Management Roadmap. Choose the correct sequence. This one is a bit macro, but is actually listed in your notes, so you just have to summarize. And the answer is you have to evaluate, to prepare your organization, and then implement. Only 3. There should be 4 here, but I can't see it. And then system integration. Evaluate organization preparation. That means you have to do the baseline study and whatnot. And then implement energy conservation measures, and then system integration, meaning you have to do auditing and whatnot at the very end. Okay, which of the following is not possible structure of energy manager in organization? Why can't I see it? Hold on, kenapa? Apa setengah aja? Let's paste this here. Okay. Can I double confirm with you, when you're trying to answer this question, do you see the same view as I am right now? That means you are unable to see the end of it. Can somebody give me a feedback? Do you see the question similar like this? Did you recall?
Yes, sir.
Oh, in that case, I have to give you a bonus mark lah sebab As you can see, there's a words here that supposedly be. Hold on, let me uh, let me share this. No, not bad. Okay, give me a second. Can I? Ah, so if you are seeing the view that I'm seeing right now, so it's not valid for you like to have this question given to you. I thought they should wrap it up, but this is wrong. For me, this shouldn't be allowed. So this one I'll have to give you bonus mark. Question 13. Apparently the energy manager role ni memang dah nampak, tapi if you can't see that does not have the certification ni, that's possibly not, I mean, you won't be able to understand the choices that you can make lah. So this one, question 13, I'll give you a free mark, a bonus mark, because it's not fair to you. So yeah, question 13 is bonus mark. I'll have to put a reminder somewhere, and then no matter what the answer is, everyone will get +1. Okay, and then question 4. This one is energy manager role can be given to any engineer with the most experience, although you can't give somebody the position if they don't have the training and certification. And training comes with the certification, typically. So if that person does not have certification, even though he's good at maintaining the equipment, he might not understand the whole laws involved with it, the cost operation, the budgeting, and also the human capital needed to achieve energy management program. So that is why the last part is actually wrong. But given that you can only see the answer choices, next time I need to remember not to put the very long word like this. So yeah, but the objective that I want to achieve but the discussion here is that you can't give energy manager position to somebody even though he's capable person, but in terms of training, he might not have it because he does not have the certification, so you can't give it to them. Okay. Okay, so question 13, bonus marks, so +1, everyone, hopefully. Okay, which of the scenarios is not related to the 6th pillar of energy manager's responsibility? Your YouTube channel to give public education isn't actually covered because YouTube channel is more on apa nama? Uh, the whole world boleh access. So your company typically won't like you sharing their industrial secrets to the whole world, especially the process of coming up with the output, the product that the company is producing, and then you tell the other on YouTube all the competitors what type of machinery is being used, what type of input is being used. That isn't very feasible. Your company might fire you for that. So creating a YouTube channel, although it's a good what do you call that? Information system that you can distribute to your colleagues, but your competitors can also have a hold on that and therefore reveals the company secrets to them, and therefore isn't actually your responsibility like as an energy manager to conduct and create a YouTube because it exposes your company secrets. So the keyword here is company secrets. So imagine you work with KFC and then you buat YouTube channel pasal nak pakai equipment apa, nak masuk rempah apa, so mau kena fire dengan KFC tu nanti. The secret ingredients. Okay, and then energy manager has the responsibility to ensure continuous effort in improving good practice of energy management. The responsibility is referred to, this one tengok apa ni lah, tengok nota lah. So this is under pillar 1. Getting commitment is one of the 6 pillar, which approach is not suitable to obtain a commitment from stakeholder of the organization. Community commitment. I think invite media for publicity purposes, because when you're talking about energy management program, you're actually revealing the company secret again. The keyword here is company secret. So training is good, information campaigns is good, one-to-one discussion is good because you keep everything under the same umbrella. But once you invite media, the same with YouTube lah. Everyone can know, so you're basically exposing the company secret to the whole world, especially your competitors. So that would not be a very good decision for you to make lah, to inform apa nama, to get a commitment from the stakeholder. Okay, planning, organizing, objective and target setting is pillar 3 of energy manager's responsibility. To set a target, a parameter must be chosen and benchmark. Which of the following is not a suitable parameter? So this one is from notes, but it can, I understand if it can be confusing to you, but this is actually directly from notes. So to set the target parameter, dollar per unit, basically this is under the calculation. I think the one part of measuring the product output. So for dollar per unit, it's more on sales, not so much on energy efficiency. So yeah, that's it lah. Dollar per unit is more on sales, not so much on because you're trying to measure energy compared to output. So if you're talking about dollar per unit, it's more on total investment of product input being put in and the output getting out. So that's not the concern of energy. Not to say not the concern of energy manager, but more on the sales part, the sales business part of the company, and not so much on energy management. So dollar per unit is the wrong answer. The right answer, sorry. Okay, improving the energy management system in an organization require new practice and habit in daily working tasks. To ensure whether the new practice is effective or not, which pillar needs to be addressed by an energy manager? Why is this option 2? Did I? I've given you a free pass here, but never mind. Improving. So this one is directed from notes. This should be under system audit. I guess when I put this, the question is there, but biasalah, banyak sangat agaknya confused. This one, option 2 ni something else lah. Tapi the answer is actually system audit. For you to make sure that any energy management proposal or action that has been taken does actually result in energy efficiency or energy conservation for your company. So system audit lah yang enablekan dia. So this one is directly from the notes. Apologize for this. I think menolong korang lah ni option 2 ni. Terang-terang kau jawapan. Okay, which of the following is not the code of practice of an energy manager? The answer will be assist facility department to buy the most efficient equipment regardless of high purchasing cost. Again, energy management program, there is about money, not to say sales, but more about efficiency of using that kind of money. So to buy the highest efficiency project, although you're only producing maybe a certain amount of sales, will not be very feasible for you as a owner or as a company owner. So typically, energy manager function is to find a balance between adopting energy efficiency as well as company profitability. So yeah, the answer will be the second choice because you can still achieve energy efficiency by purchasing the most basic energy efficiency equipment, on the market. You don't have to buy the highest end that has LED output display, even though it's just hammering steel. You don't have to buy that. So uh, the answer will be the second option. Okay, last question. As an energy manager, you are required to solve the problem, which is the high energy consumption by the old air conditioning unit of on one of the departments in your organization. Which of the following can be done without violating the code of practice of an energy manager? Ask the facility department to perform inspection, conduct energy audit, assist the facility department to perform. Okay, the other three is good except for the first one because you're appointing your relative who is the owner of the company. Although you can only see half of it, but the keyword here is your relative here. Because anything got to do with tender, anything got to do with contract that shouldn't have any personal, what you call that, incentive lah, personal incentive being included in that process. Tapi personally, I have seen this being done lah. Waktu saya kerja Sandabi Engineering dulu, if you recall, when I graduated degree, I worked 1 year, 2 years in oil and gas, and one of those year being with Sandabi Engineering, we build the oil platform. Apparently cleaner office tu pun ada direction dan ada direct connection dengan director of the board Sandabi tu. Tak payah mention lah, all the welder, all the subcon yang ada kat situ typically will have direct connection dengan the directors. Not just one, plenty lah, maksudnya masing-masing pemakai. So what happened was, by the time saya habis 1 year tu, saya dah jadi tutup because of mismanagement, I think. There is a few words that being thrown around saying that saya dah ni mismanage duit. Maksudnya projek tahun ni patutnya pakai projek tahun depan untuk cover projek ni ke macam mana kah. So end up tak cukup duit. Semua pun telan projek kan. So you might think that it's inconsequential having your cousin, your relative giving you maybe 5-10% of the contract. But ultimately, it will drive the company down. So if you're the person who I'm talking to you because you will be the one leading a company. You might not be the one who accept those hanky-panky punya ni. Tapi if let's say lah one day you hire somebody, this will be the main factor, one of the main factor lah, will drive your company down, which is main project ni. You might not know if you just, I don't know why lah, basically because saya tak pernah ada in the position of the highest position there to know about this, why the owner let their staff do this. But even though Petronas sendiri pun, I have to, ni saya nak bagi tahu sendiri personally, something goes out of our class punya syllabus. Petronas Lumberjack, I'm talking about oil and gas because my experience is there, but I assume this would be applicable to most industries lah. Even though the official tema of a company is not to accept gifts, apparently it is a cultural punya issues lah. Belanja makan tu, even though harmless, but you will be, especially our culture ni, berhutang budi ni, it exists. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't go when there's a majlis berbuka puasa dengan vendor ke apa ke. You should to build rapport. Not to say because you have to pay them. Repo tu maksudnya not to say korang kena beli barang pada orang apa tak. It's good to have a vendor readily available to you if you need to buy something. It's just that make sure you attend that after the project has been awarded or the project has been completed. Then it's ethically viable. But if the project is currently being tendered, everything is under consideration and suddenly they ask you, jom lah makan apa semua, jangan. Bab ethics ni ramai yang ambil mudah. Even dah kerja, back to Schlumberger Petronas tadi tu. I've known one guy in Schlumberger, their salary is in US dollars, which is 5,000 US dollars, convert to Malaysian back then was 25,000 RM. But still, tak cukup duit. And end up minta, waktu tu after saya finish with Science Engineering, I worked with a vendor in oil and gas juga, supply equipment kecil-kecil lah, alarm system, CCTV and whatnot. And this guy from Schlumberger requested the project to cost, the project was around 1.5 million. It's not too big lah, okay lah, standard project lah. And apparently the project costs and to complete everything is just 1 mil. The other 500,000 was being shared between three of them, which is the manager and the two engineers. And this is from the guy who had their salary at 20,000 RM. So let me tell you this, if you're chasing money, you might find yourself in a jail one day. If you're working for money, you might. That's why I took the opportunity when I was given the opportunity to continue my studies in PhD, even though I don't have any intention of becoming a lecturer back then because my mindset was lecturing for done. And apparently I had to took the way out lah. That's I think the best one, because if I stayed there as a vendor, I need, even though saya tak nak, saya terpaksa bagi kalau klien minta. That's the nature of things. And one thing about being a Malay, time tu saya bekerja dengan Malay punya vendor. Maksudnya that company is owned by a Malay. If you don't do that, if you don't do the project bagi duit ni, thank you, chances are you will be out of business in 1 or 2 years punya time scale. Because Chinese, they don't, Chinese or Indians or non-Malays lah, basically, they don't have that reservation. Yeah, they orang keep on harping, orang kerja government makan rasuah lah, orang kerja ni, orang Melayu makan rasuah lah. But you have to remember, tepuk sebelah tangan tak berbunyi tau. Kadang-kadang tu it's not because of kita orang yang minta pun. Dia orang yang approach yang bagi. So everybody is trying to survive. I'm not trying to say they are bad, but they don't have that moral obligation to do that because their religion basically Chinese lah. Their God is basically money. Dia orang mati pun bakal duit. Kita mati tak. So even though Buddhist ke Christian ke apa ke, Chinese typically dia orang sembah duit lah. And not to say they are wrong, because nowadays tengoklah dia orang successful. How many of their gabungan keluarga Tan, gabungan keluarga Lim punya bangunan cantik kan. So I'm not being envious or kutuk dia orang. No, they have their own way. But as you yourself in the future set up your company and whatnot, these are the challenges that you need to face. And you have to be smart about this. And not to say that there isn't a way out, because Tan Sri Syed Ahmad Bukhari sendiri pun terpaksa hadap benda ni. And maybe that's why dia set up dia punya institution for kebajikan and whatnot, to wash out his sins ke apa ke, saya tak tahu lah. Sebab nak jadi kaya macam tu, it is impossible for you to not do these things lah. So itu cara dia. Saya tak tahulah kan. Saya maybe speculate lah, but nobody will be able to get that rich without doing some dirty works. So that's it. So back to the test one. This is ethical issues. Even though you kata this is my cousin and therefore I tak ambil duit pun, saya tak ambil duit pun, saya just appoint dia nak tolong kawan, nak tolong saudara. No. As long as there is interest and you're not doing it open tender and does not go to the proper channel, it is ethically tak bagus lah. So if somebody trying to mess you up, they can use this as one of the point to bring you down. Right? So be careful with this. Of course, if you're small scale, if you're only less than 500,000 in sales per year, it shouldn't be an issue lah. People will see that even saudara you pun most probably tak bising lah kot, sebab ni macam kecil-kecil je. But when you're trying to involve, when your sale is more than $1 million a year, that can become an issue. I think there's a parameter of, I think you guys from business most probably would know lah kot, in terms of law, what kind of ethical tender and contract punya operation compared to ethics lah. Okay, so the answer here is the first one, because you're appointing your relative. Even though you can't see the full question, but I think you should get the picture lah. You can't appoint anybody that is blood relative to you or your friend who is the owner of that company to become the vendor or the contractor for this good. Okay. Okay, so we'll look into part B. Okay, this one I think you can compare with your the link that I've just been given here. So as you can see there, your question, the question can be viewed according to the answers. Okay, let me share with you the answers. Is it this one? Yep. Okay. So for question 1, actually what I'm trying to look at, okay, the first and foremost, the marks here isn't actually correct. Even the one that I've put here, this is actually only 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, 2 marks and 3 marks, because overall should be 10 marks in total. But I guess LIC pun pening juga ya. Dia pun main tanda markah ni, mula-mula dia plan maybe 12 marks kot. So and then after discussion dia terlupa nak revert balik. So bear in mind the first question is only 1 mark. So I'll try to look at the keyword managing and also energy has efficiently been consumed. Any variations of that answers I'll accept, but if I only see managing or only see energy efficiently being consumed, then I'll give half. So bear in mind, I've marked this maybe 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, so I might have missed out a few things. So if I did, please get back to me so that I can give you the proper answer. So mata rabun, mata mengantuk semua ada mungkin tersilap lah. So please get back to me if you feel that you deserve the marks in any of the question in part B. Okay, in order to achieve energy saving target, the next question. In order to achieve energy saving targets, ECM has to be identified and implemented. So there are 5 steps of this. Identify each of the 5 steps. So most of you who see this from the notes should be able to get this full mark. Basically, the one that has this 5 items. And since the question's only 2 marks, so as long as I'm seeing more than 4, this 4, any 4 here, I'll give 2 full marks. Meaning that the reason why you left it out may most probably because but you get the big picture lah basically. So 2 marks lah full. If If you didn't put this and you put something else, I try my best to help you, and I'll give marks to words or keywords that I'm able to see, like energy audit or select ECM. I'll try my best to also give you marks. So, but typically it will be half lah per keywords. So if you receive one or two, even though you didn't put this, it's basically because I'm trying to help you. Okay, part B, question 1C, subsection C. These are the things that I need to see. You can do it like this, you can list it down, you can just point it out. But as long as you have these the whole 6 items, you should be able to get 3 marks, full marks. For those who didn't put anything in regards to this, I'll also try to help you, but I think only 1 or 2 things that I could give you marks for, because it's totally going to be different if you didn't have this answered in your question, in your answer scheme, in your answer paper. So, tu je lah kot. Okay, question 2A. Again, this one, I'll try my best to give you marks, but I had just been informed that any answers given in the any answers, even though not related directly to the question to the answer scheme here, will also should be able to get marks lah. That said, if any of you who put keywords drive the implementation, or actually some sort of elaboration from the implementation, basically implementation lah, and also basically implementation lah. As long as I'm seeing the words implementation or drive, or who responsible for the success of energy management, I'll give 1. But for those who, I think the second page of the notes code, if I recall correctly, if you put it there, that's basically does not answer the role of energy manager. If I'm not mistaken, it's about the role of the committee. The committee appointing the energy manager. That one is more on committee, not role of energy manager. Of course, if you feel like you should get 1 mark, given your answer, you are more than welcome to discuss it with me. Again, my objective here isn't to fail you compared to UTM. UTM, Universiti Tendang Menendang, no. UITM is Universiti Tolong Melayu. So I'm here to help you, but of course with the strict adherence to the laws lah. Tak boleh lah tolong suka-suka dia. Kena ada some valid justification over why you should get the answer, the marks. But the main point here, what I'm trying to say is, if you're listed down the second page of the notes, that one is more on the energy committee, the management committee punya role, not the energy manager. So I can't accept that answer. But of course, if you feel strongly that you should get 1, you can discuss. Again, you're a business person. It's about negotiation. We'll see how it goes if you are able to convince me why I'm wrong. Okay. Okay, and the last part B, I need to see the flow. If you just list down energy management system, formulating energy management policy, that one you have totally depends on my mood of the day lah, waktu I mark your question. If I'm feeling angry ke apa ke, chances are I will not accept it. But typically I'll try to help there. So I wouldn't give you the full mark, but if you want the full mark, what I'm trying to say is you need to show flow. That means something like this lah, from energy management system, the whole package. Even if you don't put this pun tak apa, but formulating energy management policy trickles down to creating commitment, and after that complete, move on to planning and organizing. After that complete, implement. After that complete, conduct the system audit. And while the system energy management program is being run, it needs to be controlled and monitored. Yang continual improvement ni up to you lah. But I think I want to see this flow chart in the box here. If you got that in your answer, I'll give full mark. If you don't got that, I try my best to help you. But even if you got everything right in the box, but since you do not make it in the flow chart, I'll give you maybe 2.5. Yes, because it shows your understanding, not just reading notes. What I don't want for you to answer this test is for you to read notes. What I want from you is to think a bit lah. Even though ini pun sebenarnya dalam notes juga, tapi at least think lah which is the actual answer, not just the 6 pillars, but this is the correct answer. At least you think juga lah. Okay, I finished discussing on part B and part A. Of course, part A you have to double check again later. Once I release the scores, apparently there's mistakes being done there. I forgot. But is there any question or any request that you might want me to check first in regards to test 1? Any problems? Okay, so far nobody has any issues. Nanti tapi tak apa. If you have feelings that you might want to double check, you can, or you want to double check with me later, please do so. I'm open. Except for maybe tonight, I'll be naik bus lah sebab saya nak kena balik ke KL to handle some interviews and whatnot. So tonight might not be a good, but petang saya ada meeting. But if you can get back to me maybe tomorrow ke bila-bila lah. Basically, would be good. Okay, that's it. With objective of today will be achieved, which is on your tests and discussion. So next, I like to move on to a little bit on your notes, which is, where is it? Give me a second. Okay, this one I'm going to touch. Just a little bit. Is it in this case? All right. So for this, I would like to just touch on a little bit, just on the first 2 pages, because I think this is very interesting to take your mind off of your test 1. This is the practical hands-on of calculating energy consumption. Pagi-pagi apa saya slow sikit dalam kenapa pagi ni. Okay, so for this subchapter, basically you're going to use a lot of mathematics, simple mathematics basically, but I think something that isn't unfamiliar for you as a business person, because it's about return of investment. But before we realize the return on investment, we need to know how much energy is being used before and after implementation of energy management program. So in order for you to do that, you need to conduct investment appraisal. So I think this one is more suited to your school and to your discipline. So I hope this attract much attention from you. Okay, so there are two types of evaluation that you need to do, technical and also financial. When you're talking about energy management, it's not just about saving the energy in terms of kilowatt hours, but the main reason you're doing it is because you want to save money or to gain money. So therefore, that you need to look at it at two perspectives, which is technical and also financial. So in the part of technical, you need to look at the amount of energy being saved. Press the okay, remote. I make it bigger and put it here. Hold on, let me arrange my OBS. I need to put my picture that up there, not because I'm vain. It's more because for auditing purpose. Jangan ingat saya ni vain sangat, nampak muka sangat kat saya slide ni, tapi terpaksa. Right. Okay. Sorry. This is to show to the auditor that I'm doing this live, not recorded. Okay. So for technical evaluation, you need to look at the amount of energy. So that's it. You need to measure the kilowatt hours, kilowatt joule, whatever, in terms of energy saving. So for financial, you need to look at the investment budget in terms of time and also money. So that's the two different perspectives that you need to look at. So for technical evaluation, you need to look at the amount of energy saving, kilowatt hours ke, apa ke, the technology risks, whether adopting a new machine to the process would introduce unstable product ke apa ke. So you have to look at it also. Implementation period, how long you going to implement the new scheme in order for you to realize savings in terms of money and cents. Impact to normal operation, whether people will have hard time to use the machine, to use the working procedures or whatnot in order for them to realize the energy management program. Okay, so let's take a look at a change of technology in terms of technical terms. How much energy is being saved by converting the existing fluorescent lighting to LED lighting. So this one, lumens per watt ni, you can look at the technical spec. In fact, it can be seen here, listed here, 51 watt and 24 watt day. This 840, I'm not sure what that means, but this should be 51 watt. The example given here is 34 watt P8, but this is 51 watt pictures. So this actually the correct one maybe 51 lah. Tapi yang ni, I think the table ni from another example, but gambar ni dia taruh yang baru lah kot. Tak apalah. Kita abaikan, kita tengok je yang contoh table ni. Kita assume lah 51 watt ni is actually 34 watt, 16 watt ni is the 24 watt. So based on 34 watt ballast factor, that what is ballast factor? It's efficiency. That means the amount of energy, let's say to produce 60 lumens of fender floor punya lighting, you need to have 100 watt. 60 lumens, you need 51 watt. But if you supply 51 watts, typically you won't get 60 watts in real time, because 51 watts, after it's being transmitted from the current wall socket, goes into your fender floor, some energy will be lost because of convection, because of transmission, and also heat loss lah. So typically you won't get 60 lumens if you supply 51 watt. And based on specification, ballast factor, that means if you supply 51 watt, you wouldn't get 60 watt because you have to multiply 51 with 0.85. So that means around 0.15 factor has been contributed to losses to the fender floor lighting. So if you supply 34 watt, typically instead of 60 watt, you need to multiply 60 with 0.85, then only you can get the lumens for the 51 or 34 watt that you supply to the pendant floor. This is memang normal punya pendant floor operation, balance factor ni. So in order for you to produce the reduced amount of advertised lumens, you need to multiply 34 tadi dengan 0.85 to get the actual watt required to produce the 60 lumens. You remember tadi nak bagi 34 watt tu, you tak dapat 60 lumens. Now, in order for you to get 60 lumens, you have to increase the input so that after multiply with 0.85, you'll get the actual input required to come up with the 60 lumens, the full brightness lah. So apparently for this balance, or for 34 watt fluorescent tubes, you need to multiply it to get the actual operation watt. And if you multiply with seminggu punya operation, it comes up to 376.68 kilowatt hours. So basically you multiply 0.85 with 34, get 43, and then 43 you multiply with 24, multiply with 7. This is 24/7 operation. So 43 times 24 multiply with 7. Multiply with 7. Hold on, let me use my calculator. I think can I use this? How about this? Oh yeah. Okay, so for calculator, okay, 34 times 0.85, you get 28.9. 28.9. Oh, this is for less than 60 lumen. So to get 60 lumen, you need, okay, tapi yang ni tak boleh nak directly ni lah pun. How about market by 40? I think there's a relationship lah between getting 60 lumens ni, which dia tak show kat sini. So basically 43 watt ni untuk dapatkan 60 lumens. So assuming operation watt 43 watt ni betul, sebab saya tak ada technical spec of panel floor, so I can't exactly check with you the actual relationship between balance factor and lumens ni. Tapi the keyword here is that this 43 watt is actually required to come up with 60 lumens lah. Okay, so 43 watts multiply with 24, multiply with 7, because it runs 24/7 per week. So 7,224. Apa lain sangat ni? Annual consumption. Annual consumption, you have to multiply with setahun 360,000. Hold on, kenapa lari sangat punya value ni? 43 times 24/7 times 365. Let me check tu. Yang ni dah masuk ke depan, bukan ni? I think there's some calculation here that is not being elucidated. There's some assumption that should be taken into account, but apparently it doesn't state there. You should get more lah kalau ikutkan 43 times 365, which is per year, times 24, which is 24 jam, times 7. Is it 1,000 times 7? 43, hold on 43 times 365 times 24. Oh, kenapa nak kali 7? Ya Allah, sorry. I forgot. Dah nak kali one whole year kan? Why nak kali 7? So 365 76.68 kilowatt hours lah. Saya silap tadi saya kali 7 because I thought 24/7. Sorry, just times 24 because 24 hours, and we run it 365 days per year because it runs every single day. So 24/7 ni maksudnya 24 jam untuk setiap hari untuk setahun. So 43 times 365 times 24, you get the total energy consumption for a year for energy as of panel floor lighting. Then we compare that with the LED version of the lampu lintang, tapi LED, the balance factor is almost efficient because in LED they don't have mechanical equipment. So dia tak ada ballast, dia tak ada apa, dia memang totally chips, microchip. So even dia punya energy losses tu almost zero lah. So you can consider the ballast factor to become 1. So that means whatever you put in, if you put in 24, if there's a calculation there will be done to get the lumens. So if 24 is the 100 lumens, then you get 100 lumens. You won't get reduction in lumens brightness. Lumens ni maksudnya the brightness of the panel floor, the brightness level of the panel floor. That means if nak terangkan satu bilik tu, saya pun tak tahu sangat dia punya lumens punya measurement ni, tapi certain area of room will require certain amount of lumens, and basically lumens ni is characteristic how you measure the brightness lah. So saya nak lebih banyak tak tahu lah, tapi but basically lumens is the amount of energy, amount of brightness lah. So that said, for LED you can directly multiply with 1 to get the energy, basically because it's efficient. Whatever that you put in, you get the actual amount of energy being produced. So the lumens being produced, which is 16 watt to get 100 lumens. So not only dia lagi rendah energy consumption, dia punya lumens pun lagi tinggi. So based on this, you'll know that if you are trying to operate the lighting 24/7 for the whole year, so you can multiply 16 times 24 times 365, you get 140.16 kilowatt hours. So based on this calculation, okay. So based on this calculation, you see that you're able to save around 27 watts if you change the fluorescent lamp, the normal lamp to the LED lamp per hour, 27 watt per hour. Therefore, if you multiply it with 365, 24 hours, with the 27, you're able to save 233.28 kilowatt hours. So if you do the calculation, 27 times 24 times 365. 27 times 24 times 365, you get 236. Ada kurang lah. Yang dalam nota tu 233, tapi ada data salah kira tadi. Okay, so banyak ni. If you multiply this with the TNB punya meter, consider for C1 residential, which is for our house, it's actually falls under C1. I'm not sure the tarif is still the same because if I'm not mistaken, this year and the last 2 years, tarif dah naik. So nanti dah check balik. But kita assume lah ni tarif, this is in 2018 punya tarif ni. So maybe betul, maybe salah, double check. So if we compare this tarif with the amount of saving that we actually got, ambil lah 233,280 tadi tu, times with 0.365 energy saving, you're actually saving 85, ni sebab kilowatt hours tadi tu. So if you bahagi 1000 sebab kilo tadi tu, you are actually saving 85 ringgit. This is one tube. One tube. So imagine if you got satu rumah tu maybe 5 tube. Takkanlah 5 tube kan. 3 bilik. 3 bilik, 2 bilik air, ruang tamu lagi. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kita assume lah 8 tubes. 8 tube per year, actually you are saving 700, almost 700 RM. 700 tu, rather than you pay your electricity bill, why not you take your family, go to Genting ke, lepak dengan your family, lepak dengan your friend ke, apa girls night out ke, dengan 700 ni. Nak pergi mabuk-mabuk satu malam pun boleh ni. Kalau you're not Muslim lah Kalau Muslim janganlah. Pergilah mabuk cendol ke apa ke. Lagi banyak cendol ni minum ni. 700 ni. Okay, so banyak ni. Just with the simple steps of changing light bulb from pendant floor to LED for the whole house, for the whole house lah. For the whole house. Just by changing that, you'll be able to get 700 at the end of the year for you to enjoy with your family, with your friends. Nak beli, kalau siapa yang nak beli baju cantik ke apa ke pun boleh. That means in a month, for one lamp, you're able to save around $7.10. Sorry, this one. Assuming 24 hours operation lah, that means if kita tutup lampu lah. So this is how you calculate. This is a simple calculation lah on technical evaluation. Yang financial evaluation tu lagi saya simpan next week sebab lebih so that korang boleh fokus, tak nak kalang kabut sangat, nanti kan lupa. Tapi for technical specification senang je. Take the data from the spec sheet, multiply with the residential punya tarif, you get your energy saving. So, any questions? For today, I'll just cover this part here only because I don't want it to be too ni, sebab lagipun hari ni sebenarnya saya nak fokus on test 1 sahaja. I just want to focus on the test 1, not so much on notes sangat lah. I want for you to look at your test 1. That said, I'll be working on releasing your objective after this class.